Hi, grade nines, Mr. Smith again. Hope you aren't getting too sick of me at this point. We'll carry on with the homework demo questions, and I'm looking at question 10 here. So question 10, I assigned A and B, so, A and C. So between question B and question D, I think I'll demo question D. Okay, they're all very similar, so I tend to pick ones. A couple of times I'll do homework questions from your actual homework. Most of the times I try to just do similar questions. So here we have negative 2.1 is equal to 4.6 subtract A. I want to really congratulate myself. I didn't mess up on that number 4. I usually turn them into looking like 9s. Okay, so guess what? Still a cross-multiplying thing. Cross-multiplying does not necessarily mean you have to have like fractions like this question here, like question 4. Okay, just because the whole questions are set up as like fractions, or you see that there's no decimals, that doesn't mean just because we have a fair amount of decimals to deal with here, doesn't mean we can't use cross-multiplying. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Negative 2.1 is the same as negative 2.1 over 1. So yeah, you can have this sort of weird hybrid of fractions and decimals in the same question. Regardless, you can bounce this negative 5 off this negative 2.1. And one advantage here sometimes is if you don't have fractions on both sides, like look, you would have this as a denominator 1 and a denominator 1 here. And whenever you have a denominator 1, I can guarantee you one of those cross multiplyings is super easy because multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, including on a distributive property. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So negative 5 times negative 2.1. And here, I guess I'll just write it out, even though I know in advance, nothing earth-shattering is going to happen here. So you have 1 times 4.6 subtract A. Now, even if I were to do all the little micro steps, multiplying a positive 1, and I emphasize a positive because negative would flip the signs, but when you multiply a positive 1 through cross-multiplying, you don't really need to go through all this stuff. 1 times this whole binomial is just this binomial rewritten. Nothing changes. 0 changes. Nothing changes. Okay, and over here we have, well, I know negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so, and then of course 2.1 times 5, that should equal 10.5, but let's just check it. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, we got 1 decimal place. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so it's positive 10.5. Okay, so 10.5. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite that. By the way, I'll just say this in advance. I have friends, my best friend in my whole world is at the school today. I let him and his 2 sons and his niece use the gym, and I've been pranking them the whole day, so we may get interrupted because my best friend here, he likes to take revenge, so we'll see what happens. We've got positive 4.6 on both sides. So we're going to subtract 4.6 from both sides. Some of you may have noticed that we've got a negative A, but I'm not worried about that yet. Okay, I'll deal with that in a moment. So I'm going to subtract 4.6 from both sides. There's my messed up number 4. And so subtract, oh my gosh. Let's see if I can get this right. There we go. Okay, so that zeroes itself out. And what are we left with here? Negative A. We got 10 minus 4 would be 6, but this is going to cause an issue, so let's make this a 9. Let's make this a 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5.9. Now, before you actually box this answer, right, you have an issue. Okay, so this time I'm going to do it the technically correct way. So you basically have 5.9 is equal to negative 1a. We don't like the negative 1a. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1. Both sides by negative 1. And what happens is you get negative 5.9. The signs essentially just flip. That's all they do is they just flip. Okay, there's your answer. That's not a very nice looking A. You guys might have noticed I'm making a lot of videos now, so I'm taking less time to edit out my mistakes. I don't care. Like I'm not going to make any more fixes. I just erase and go as I go. So anyways, that's our answer for question 10. And yeah, we'll pause here and go on to question 11.